We're only 2 weeks into phase 3, and already we're starting to see some cheese strategies being come up with in ways to deal with some of the boss encounters that are a little bit more frustrating. Now, this phase is a lot easier than last phase, like Lady Vosh and Kel'Thas respectively, but the last bosses Archimonde and Illidan, and as well Illidari Council, are giving some raids a little bit of trouble. So today we're going to look at the cheese strategy that's already come out for the Archimonde encounter. The last boss in Mount Hyjal, you can actually fully cheese this encounter and actually basically ignore almost all of the mechanics. There still are ways to wipe, and I'll get into that in a second, but this video was put out by Bazes today. It was done on the Gehenna's EU server, and as I switch over right here, you can just see we're doing it from the POV of the Warlock Dark Bolter. So the strategy we're going to watch today is actually to tank Archimonde all the way down here by the tree. Not too close to the tree where you can actually get knocked into the water, or where he's too close to the tree and he actually instantly kills every single person in the raid. That is a mechanic that's supposed to be out, and it is working if you get too close, but apparently there's a place right here basically where the tank can tank them close enough for the ranged and healers to just cast straight through this tree trunk and have no issues because it doesn't actually count as LOS. Now, one thing that's really important here is you're all going to be hit by the air burst, but this fully trivializes the mechanic. Everybody takes a little bit of damage, but nobody has to worry about falling and taking full damage and dying to not clicking the Tears of the Goddess. This is something that's super easy to deal with, but it's something that you also probably all know someone in your raid has a tendency to fail doing it. Or if you're in a pug or a GDKP, you don't really know everybody in the raid. You can see the tank tanking right here, and the melee are actually right behind the boss, still dodging the fires, but this tree trunk and all of the other trees on the ground actually do count as LOS for the fire abilities themselves. So all of the fires on the ground have a tendency to go around all of the tree abilities, or tree animations. So if you see there's a tree trunk actually or a stump kind of in the middle of the actual encounter all the way over here, and that actually also works as LOS, and I've heard today actually in one of my streams that people use that to actually tank on. Now, if you do get the fire to chase you, sometimes as ranged, you do have to run into the water here, or you could actually just ideally run away. But if the fire is chasing you individually and you fall into the water, you will get silence, and that's a huge silence, which really hurts, and it basically means you're almost out of the fight entirely. Other than that, though, you're pretty much ignoring all of the other mechanics of this fight. You do have tremor totems to deal with the fears so you don't get feared in the fire, and melee still have to dodge the actual abilities where he's dropping fire on them, but everyone else doesn't really have that issue. And melee, again, they actually do also have to deal with the air burst. And you're going to be able to do some probably crazy DPS, although it should nerf your DPS a little bit, because in an ideal situation to do the most damage here, you would just get super good RNG and never have to run from anything, not have really any fears like hit you for more than a half a second, and you wouldn't be targeted by the air burst. But this is absolutely a mega giga cheese strat for Archimonde, and if it works for everyone, which I've actually heard some reports today that it might already be patched, but if it's not, then this is going to just make this fight completely easy. You're not even going to think about it. This fight is going to be something you just go and slap, especially in GDKPs or in any other situation. Hopefully there are some fights that remain kind of challenging throughout this tier, but we're definitely going to see a lot more strategies coming up as people go in and fight these bosses more ways for them to just basically make things easier and trivialize mechanics. That's just the way we have a tendency to play the game as WoW players nowadays. Kind of take all of the challenge away and then complain about the challenge not being there. It's a thing, but whatever. I don't know if this is going to be patched yet or if it is patched yet, but if not, go in there and get your Archimonde kills, cheese the fight, and get it done really easily. If you want to see the logs, I'll have those linked as well because I kind of tracked those down. People only got hit by 6 air bursts for most of the range, and it's only hitting you for 3,000 each, as for a total of 18k damage. It's not that bad, and the actual uptime you lose from it doesn't hurt you enough to make this fight just any harder. It's so easy if you use this strategy. This is the Archimonde cheese. We might see some cheeses for other fights, but we'll see what comes out in the future. Good luck out there, guys. If you want to see me go for those rank 1s, by the way, I did already get 4-piece tier 6 and Curse Vision on my main hunter, so I'm going to be chasing all rank 1s this week on the Twitch channel. So follow there. It's twitch.tv/Sarthe. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you guys all on the next one.